Ever wondered why your computer lags when you open too many tabs on your browser or when editing a video? The culprit might be your processor. The processor, also known as the Central Processing Unit or CPU, is essentially the brain of your computer. It's responsible for performing all the major and minor calculations that make your computer work. Now let's dive a little deeper. A processor's performance is determined by its cores. Think of cores as the worker bees in a hive. The more workers you have, the faster and more efficient the hive operates. A dual-core processor, for instance, has 2 worker bees. They can perform tasks simultaneously, making your computer run faster and smoother. This is why a dual-core processor, like an Intel Core i3 or AMD Ryzen 3, is recommended for tasks like web browsing and VPN usage. However, when you start editing videos, things get a bit more complex. Video editing software requires more power to process data quickly and efficiently. This is where a quad-core processor comes in handy. With 4 worker bees instead of 2, a quad-core processor can perform tasks even faster. For video editing, a quad-core processor like an Intel Core i5 or AMD Ryzen 5 is the way to go. But what if you're a gamer or a professional video editor? Then you might need an even more powerful processor with 6 or even 8 cores. Remember, the more cores a processor has, the more tasks it can handle at once, and the smoother your computing experience will be. So, whether you're a casual web surfer or a professional video editor, your processor plays a crucial role in how smoothly your computer operates. It's the unsung hero that keeps your digital world spinning. So remember, a good processor can make a world of difference in your computing experience. Don't just settle for any processor. Make sure it has the right number of cores to handle your computing needs. Happy computing. Have you ever tried to juggle too many tasks at once and felt overwhelmed? Your computer feels the same without enough RAM. You see, RAM, or random access memory, is the unsung hero of multitasking. It's the workspace your computer uses to get things done in the moment. Imagine RAM as a physical desk. The bigger your desk, the more projects you can work on simultaneously without having to shuffle papers around, or, worse, shove them onto the floor. In the digital world, when your RAM is full, your computer shoves that extra data onto the hard drive, which is much slower to access. This is what causes that frustrating lag when you're flipping between tasks. So how much RAM do you need? Well, for basic tasks like web browsing or using a VPN, 4 gigabytes is a bare minimum. That's enough for your computer to handle a handful of browser tabs and a VPN connection without breaking a sweat. But what about video editing? Now that's where things get interesting. Video editing is a resource-intensive task. It's like trying to build a model ship in a bottle on a tiny desk. It can be done, but you're going to wish you had more space. For video editing, we recommend at least 8 gigabytes of RAM. This gives your computer the elbow room it needs to smoothly handle larger files and more complex tasks. It's like upgrading from a cramped desk to a spacious workbench. Of course, if you're a serious multitasker or professional video editor, you might even consider 16 or 32 gigabytes of RAM. That's like having an entire architect's table at your disposal. But remember, RAM is not a magic bullet. It works in concert with your processor and hard drive to keep your computer running smoothly. Overloading on RAM won't help if these other components are underpowered. In short, more RAM equals more multitasking. It's that simple. Without a good internet connection, even the best hardware can't save your browsing experience. It's like having a high-performance sports car, but no fuel to power it. So let's delve into why a good internet connection is the backbone of your browsing and VPN activities. The internet, as we know it, is a global network of networks. It's like a vast digital ocean where information flows freely. But to navigate this ocean efficiently, you need a capable vessel, a stable and high-speed internet connection. It's the catalyst that speeds up your browsing, streaming, downloading, and uploading activities. Now imagine you're browsing the internet and suddenly the connection drops, or the speed nosedives. Frustrating, isn't it? That's why a consistent and fast connection is critical. It's the lifeline that keeps your digital activities afloat. So how fast should your internet be? Well, for general browsing and VPN usage, a connection with at least 10 megabits per second download and upload speeds should suffice. Speaking of VPNs, let's take a moment to understand them. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. It's like a secure tunnel through the digital ocean, protecting your data from prying eyes. When you connect to a VPN, your internet traffic is encrypted and routed through a server located somewhere else in the world. This process hides your actual location and makes your online activities private and secure. But here's the catch. A VPN relies heavily on your internet connection. A slow or unstable connection can result in a sluggish VPN experience. So if you're planning to use a VPN, consider upgrading your internet. Look for a connection that offers consistent speeds and high uptime. Remember, a good internet connection is not just about speed. It's also about reliability and consistency. In conclusion, whether it's browsing the internet, streaming your favorite shows, or securing your digital footprint with a VPN, a reliable and high-speed internet connection plays a crucial role. So, a reliable and fast internet connection is not just a luxury, it's a necessity for a seamless computing experience. Now that we've covered the basic hardware requirements for browsing, VPN usage, and video editing, let's put it all together. In the heart of a capable workstation, you'll find a processor. Think of it as the brain of your system, making all the decisions and executing tasks. For basic needs like web browsing and VPN usage, a dual-core processor such as an Intel Core i3 or AMD Ryzen 3 would do the job just fine. However, if you're planning on dabbling in video editing, it's worth considering an upgrade. A quad-core processor like an Intel Core i5 or AMD Ryzen 5 will give you that extra boost of performance, making your editing process smoother and more enjoyable. Let's not forget about RAM, the unsung hero of multitasking. This is where your computer stores information it's currently working with. A minimum of 4 gigabytes of RAM will provide a decent browsing experience and support VPN usage. But again, if video editing is on your to-do list, bumping that up to 8 gigabytes or more will make a noticeable difference. More RAM means your computer can handle more tasks simultaneously, and that translates to a smoother, more efficient workflow. And of course, none of this would be possible without a stable, high-speed internet connection. This is the backbone of your browsing and VPN experiences. Aim for a connection that offers at least 10 megabits per second for both download and upload speeds. This will ensure that your browsing is seamless, your VPN connections are stable, and your files upload and download in a flash. In summary, to build the ideal workstation for web browsing, VPN usage, and basic video editing, you'll need a dual-core processor and 4 gigabytes of RAM as a starting point. For more demanding tasks like video editing, consider upgrading to a quad-core processor and 8 gigabytes of RAM. And of course, secure a high-speed internet connection to tie it all together. So, equip your workstation with these specs and you're ready to enjoy a smooth and efficient computing experience.